Hi folks, RSBN founder and CEO Joe Seals here. Did you know there is nearly $1 trillion of infrastructure and pandemic funds yet to be spent? That's right, there's a massive amount of money that the lame duck administration is pushing hard to spend in their last few months. If the president is able to push these funds out, we could see another prolonged inflation surge, just like during COVID. And I'm sure you remember the terrible effects that high prices had on most Americans. But there's hope. A surge in prices can be beaten. A gold IRA from Birch Gold Group is the ultimate inflation hedge for your savings in uncertain times. To see how to protect your IRA or 401k, get your free info kit on gold by texting the word Trump to 989898. Birch Gold makes it seamless to roll over your retirement account while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait for the president's spending spree to tank the dollar further. Protect your financial future now. Text Trump to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us live here at Right Side Broadcasting Network for this RSBN Economic Report. I'm Matthew Alvarez. As you know, under Bidenomics, it's been pretty terrible when it comes to our finances. So we are having a lot of problems when it comes to the cost of everything. So having a backup plan is always good, but even with Maganomics is always good. So let's talk about small businesses and the importance of that as well moving forward for our economy. You can see that post there from Team Trump on Truth Social. So there was a 41-point jump in the net share of small businesses, expecting the economy to improve to a net 36%. So that's the highest since June of 2020. So the net share of small businesses believing it is a good time to expand jumped by 8 points to a net 14%. That's the highest since June of 2021. We're told just before the election, uncertainty among small businesses actually had reached record highs 2 months in a row. Last month, uncertainty declined by 12 points. So this from Team Trump about small businesses. We'll get to who is going to be leading the Small Business Administration in just a second. We learned that from President Trump on Truth Social and on the Trump team's emails that they send out to the press. Let's go to the next Team Trump post. We're hearing there is new optimism among small businesses that has actually surged following President Trump's victory, with the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index jumping 8 points in November. So we're seeing a lot of great gains there when it comes to a very large chunk of the GDP is small business in America. That is really what runs the show in this country. It's the largest 1 month gain in the survey's history and a return to its highest reading since June 2021. So this is new optimism right after President Trump's great win on November 5th. Speaking of small businesses, President Trump had this to say about his recent pick to lead the Small Business Administration. You might not be able to read it there, but I can read it to you a little bit. He says, "I am very pleased to nominate business leader and former U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler from the great state of Georgia to serve as an administrator of the Small Business Administration. Small businesses are the backbone of our great economy. President Trump says Kelly will bring her experience in business and Washington to reduce red tape and also to unleash opportunity for all of our small businesses to grow, innovate, and thrive." So President Trump goes on to say she will focus on ensuring that SBA, Small Business Administration, is accountable to taxpayers by cracking down on waste, fraud, and regulatory overreach. Before we continue on to the back half of that post there, we know that DOGE is a real thing, the Department of the Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. So there'll be a lot of those regulatory cuts and any of that overspending that will be taken care of with the most wealthy person on earth, Elon Musk, and a brilliant and great person, Vivek Ramaswamy. So we're seeing some very positive things when it comes to the economy. This is what we talk about sometimes here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, about making America wealthy again and making our economy the greatest it can be. and that is through President Trump and his great economic team. He has a number of economic advisors that will be with him. He obviously is a businessman, so he knows what he's doing. So we know that we can continue on with this Truth Social post about the Small Business Administration. President Trump saying Kelly was a tremendous fighter in the U.S. Senate during the first Trump administration, including to help pass the first ever bill to protect women in sports. Prior to her tenure in the United States, in the Senate there, Kelly built a 25-year career in financial services and technology. Along with her amazing husband, Jeff, she helped build a Fortune 500 company from 100 employees to over 10,000 as an executive vice president. So you know that she knows how to take care of business, no pun intended, for the Small Business Administration. Now, there are a number of promises to the American people from the next Trump administration. So one of them is to end inflation and make America affordable again, to make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far, to stop outsourcing and to turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Also, as you guys heard on the campaign trail, there will be large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips, no tax on overtime pay, and no tax on Social Security. So we get into the weeds, but the good weeds in the sense of just more information about what President Trump wants to do to make our economy great again and to make our country wealthy again. So this RSBN economic report is brought to you by Birch Gold Group. All you have to do is text Trump to 989898 for more information on Birch Gold. So gold, silver, precious metals, a tax-sheltered IRA, a 401k, a hedge against inflation. You know, this company is the answer to the BRICS nations. You know, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're using their local currencies to try and devalue the dollar. It's been just a total mess with our economy over the past 4 years. We know Maganomics will definitely help, but we also know having a great financial backup plan, especially for your savings, is always good to invest in something like gold, silver, precious metals. Now, all you have to do is text Trump to 989898 for more information. So you get a free info kit. I actually did that one time. I wanted to see more information about Birch Gold Group. We do talk about Birch Gold here at the network. You do hear that name in various places. But the thing that's great about them is they're not pushy salesmen. This isn't cheap stuff. This is a great company with a long history for gold, silver, precious metals, and 401ks and the tax-sheltered IRAs. So they're not pushy at all. So if you're interested in this, all you got to do is text Trump to 989898 for more information on Birch Gold Group. And speaking of Birch Gold Group, Phillip Patrick works with Birch Gold Group. We have that interview with Phillip Patrick right now. Right now is Phillip Patrick with Birch Gold Group. Phillip, thank you so much for joining us on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Thanks for having me, Matthew.
Definitely. First up, the Trump tax cuts are expected to expire in just about a month from now. So do you think extending them will be one of President Trump's top priorities in January?
I absolutely do. Many of the provisions of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act are set to expire in 2025. And obviously, this is one of President Trump's signature achievements from his first term. This is huge, right? The TCJA changed what nearly every American, every small business out there pays in tax on an annual basis, and it was really helpful in generating economic boom. Now, it's going to cost money shorter term, right? It's going to add about $4.5 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years. So there's a cost associated with it, but putting this extra money into the hands of Americans, small businesses, for them to go out and spend, generate economic activity longer term. That's the key, and that's the hope with the Trump administration.
Definitely. And also from small businesses, let's go to huge corporations and manufacturers in our country and throughout the world. Talking about tariffs here, what about those in the sense of won't the proposed tariffs on China and the rest of the world make up for that whole situation with the extended tax cuts that President Trump will be hopefully having in January?
That's part of the point of tariffs, but I don't know if they're really designed to generate revenue as such. Tariffs last year brought in about 2% of total government revenue, and I don't think they've been a really meaningful source of income for about a century. What they are designed for, though, is what you said, which is to boost manufacturing domestically, and they're very effective at doing that. Trump's initial tariffs on China back in 2016 led to a 242% increase in factory construction here in the United States, but it does take time. It took about 7 years for that to materialize. So, longer term, they incentivize domestic industry. Shorter term does mean higher prices and perhaps less revenue initially than we may think.
All right, let's talk about that with revenue. Of course, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, is looking for those opportunities to cut costs. So can they offset the revenue lost by lowering taxes?
It's a good question. I have to say I'm very excited for the DOGE department in general, and it seems to be getting bipartisan support, which is interesting. Look, what I think Musk is going to do is highlight how much wasteful government spending there is. And I think to do this on a public forum like Twitter is actually really smart. In terms of addressing the deficit problem, Musk's talked about saving $2 trillion in federal spending. It's going to be tough to get that much, I think. 76% of all government spending is non-discretionary. 24% that's left, half of that is defense spending. If we cut all non-defense discretionary spending to zero, that would offset the cost of the tax cuts. The problem is politicians don't get reelected by promising to slash handouts. So I think hitting that $2 trillion mark is going to be tough, but I am excited for DOGE. I think they can make cutbacks. That, coupled with economic boom, longer term can get us there.
Well, so the lowering of taxes like this will lead to that economic growth you're talking about, creating some more jobs. So is it really that important that these tax cuts be offset by cutting costs or increasing revenue?
It's a good question. I would say yes, and here's why. Look, growth is important. That's going to be the solution longer term, like I've said over and over, and I think Trump and the team can get us there or lay the groundwork to get us there. But it does matter because the federal government finances deficits by creating money. In other words, every dollar that we then print to meet these deficits dilutes the purchasing power of every other dollar in existence. Government debt is ultimately dollar devaluation. So the result, shorter term, we may have more money in our pockets, but the money may not buy as much as it used to. And we've all had quite enough of that over the last 4 years. Now, I am a big believer Trump can make the American economy great again, but everyone needs to understand the trade-off. We have to experience some economic pain in the short run in exchange for longer-term economic gain.
So speaking of the economic situation right out of the gate, we know it's still uncertain. We know that President Trump wants to make America wealthy again. But what are some backup plans when it comes to all this uncertainty out there? How can people kind of help with their savings accounts to make sure everything's secure?
Look, we've got a new administration starting, obviously, January 20th. Everyone's very excited. We don't have a detailed budget yet. So I would encourage everyone to get informed, read, understand the problems, understand the uphill battle that President Trump is facing. On the back of that, my research team has just put together a special report, The Ultimate Guide to Gold in the Trump Era. It's full of information about why how to invest in gold and why under President Trump it's as important as ever. So I encourage everyone out there to get the information. It's really simple to do and to get reading.
And around the corner, of course, is Christmas time. I mean, even with people that want to do something that's a secure bet for themselves, it seems like Birch Gold would be a nice gift as well, don't you think?
It would. We have some promotions. Of course, we have some stocking stuffer promotions for Christmas. So, it's a really good time heading into next year to structure a hedge and make sure we're prepared for what will be volatile but exciting times ahead.
Exactly. And your thoughts, Phillip, finally, on the fact that President Trump has one of the silver coins that you guys were talking about and people can still get, right?
They can. The Trump fight coins will be part of our Christmas promotion. Fantastic coins, a moment in history. Look, you don't buy gold for the freebies, you buy it for the fundamentals. But if we can add a little something around Christmas, that may be a good, catalyst to get started. So very simple. Get the information. Why to buy gold under Trump? We'll show you how to do it.
And all you have to do is text Trump to 989898 for more information on Birch Gold. Phillip Patrick with Birch Gold Group. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on RSBN.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, so this RSBN Economic Report and Birch Gold Economic Report brought to you by Birch Gold Group. Again, text Trump to 989898 for more information on gold, silver, and precious metals. You'll get a free info kit. Now, you can get a hard copy sent to you via mail, or they can send you one via text. So once you text that number, you get that link, you click on it, and before you know it, you're going to be getting access to the info kit. That'll break down all the information you need to get the ball rolling, to get started with Birch Gold Group. I think at least give it a try. If you're on the fence, go ahead and give it a try. But also, it's a great company and it has great products. Think about having your savings with some investments into gold, silver, precious metals. I mean, at the end of the day, 401ks and tax-sheltered IRAs backed in gold is the way to go, because at the end of the day, too, you got this financial situation we're dealing with in this country. It's always fluctuating, but you know that the price of gold is high and it's good to invest in that. So all you have to do is text Trump to 989898 for more information on gold, silver, and precious metals. That wraps up our RSBN Economic Report. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back on the air coming up next week for another RSBN Economic Report. Each week, we have a new line of questions and staying up to date on the 24/7 financial and economic cycle. And we'll bring that to you next week as we get ready for Christmas. Live here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you soon.
Hi folks, RSBN founder and CEO Joe Seals here. Did you know there is nearly $1 trillion of infrastructure and pandemic funds yet to be spent? That's right, there's a massive amount of money that the lame duck administration is pushing hard to spend in their last few months. If the president is able to push these funds out, we could see another prolonged inflation surge, just like during COVID. And I'm sure you remember the terrible effects that high prices had on most Americans. But there's hope. A surge in prices can be beaten. A gold IRA from Birch Gold Group is the ultimate inflation hedge for your savings in uncertain times. To see how to protect your IRA or 401k, get your free info kit on gold by texting the word Trump to 989898. Birch Gold makes it seamless to roll over your retirement account while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait for the president's spending spree to tank the dollar further. Protect your financial future now. Text Trump to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold.